I thought I had control. I thought I could keep my secrets hidden, keep my affair buried deep in the shadows. But that was before I found out my every move was being recorded, before the cameras exposed everything. Now, my life will never be the same. I never thought it would happen to me. I always thought I was smarter than the women who got caught, the ones whose lies were uncovered. I thought I had it all under control. But that was before the camera, before everything that I had worked so hard to hide came crashing into the light. It started innocently enough. You know the kind of affair I'm talking about, the one where you think it's harmless. At first, it wasn't about anything more than just a little excitement, a spark I thought I had lost in my marriage. The long hours my husband worked, the late nights, the routine that we both fell into, it felt like we were two strangers living in the same house. So, when I met him, it felt like I was breathing again, alive again. His name was Marcus, and the moment he smiled at me, everything inside me shifted. The way he looked at me, the way he touched me, it was like the world outside disappeared. The chemistry between us was undeniable, like magnets drawn together. But I told myself it would only be once. Just once. Once. That's what I told myself. But once quickly turned into twice, then 3 times, and before I knew it, I was caught in a web of lies that I couldn't escape. And the worst part? It was all on camera. Every single moment. It wasn't supposed to go this far. But the more time I spent with him, the more I craved it. The passion, the thrill of doing something forbidden. It was like a drug. Every time we met, I felt like I was on fire, and I couldn't stop. But I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. Not really. My marriage had become a place of routine. The passion was gone. My husband wasn't around much, always busy with work, always too tired when he came home. And then there was Marcus, always there, always ready to make me feel wanted again. He wasn't perfect. I knew that. But in those stolen moments, in those brief encounters, he made me feel more alive than I had in years. I tried to keep the affair under wraps, tried to keep everything secret. I thought I was smart, careful, but I didn't know about the cameras. You might be wondering, how did I not know? How did I not realize I was being watched? Because the truth is, no one ever really expects the worst to happen to them. You think you're too clever, too careful, but one slip-up, one moment of carelessness, and everything can change. It happened on a Saturday. My husband had gone out of town for a business trip, and I thought I had the house to myself. That's when Marcus texted me. He said he wanted to come over, that he missed me. I wasn't thinking clearly. All I could think about was him, how badly I wanted him. When he arrived, we wasted no time. It was like every single inch of me was starving for him. And maybe that was my mistake, losing control. I didn't know it then, but there was a camera in the corner of the room. A hidden camera, one that I never even thought to look for. One that would record everything. We spent hours together that day, our passion consuming every corner of the house. There was nothing slow about it. There was nothing innocent about it. The camera captured every heated kiss, every touch, every moan. And I never knew. It wasn't until the following Monday that I found out. I was sitting in the living room, scrolling through my phone, when I heard a knock at the door. I didn't think much of it at first, but when I opened it, I froze. It wasn't my husband, it wasn't anyone I recognized. It was Marcus's face on a screen on a phone. The man standing there held up his phone and tapped it, showing me what I had never expected to see. It was him, Marcus, smiling into the camera, looking at me with that same familiar intensity. But behind him, I saw something I hadn't expected, something that shattered the illusion I had carefully built. There it was, the video, the footage of us, every single moment. The camera had caught everything, the way I looked at him, the way we touched, the passion we shared. It was all on tape. And now, someone else had it. Someone who wasn't afraid to expose me. The man at my door wasn't just anyone. He was someone I had never seen before, someone who apparently had been watching. He had the video, and he knew everything. He didn't care how much I begged. He didn't care how much I tried to deny it, He knew exactly what had happened, and he made it clear that he wasn't going anywhere until I made a choice. I was trapped. I had nowhere to run. The truth had already been captured, documented in ways I never could have imagined. There was no hiding anymore. And the worst part? I wasn't sure who would be more devastated by the footage, my husband or me. So now, with the camera exposed, the video already in someone else's hands, I had to make a choice. Should I try to cover it up? Should I confess? Or should I let the video play out and let the consequences take over? The man who held the video made it clear. I could pay him. I could give him whatever he wanted, but I wasn't sure what he really wanted. What would satisfy him? Would the money stop him from showing the world what I had done? Or would it just make him want more? I didn't have the answers, but I was already drowning in guilt. The weight of what I had done was unbearable. And in that moment, I realized that no matter what I did, it was already too late. So I took a breath, collected myself, and tried to think clearly. I was a mess inside, but I couldn't show it. I had to handle this, no matter how painful, no matter how much it tore me apart. I told the man that I couldn't give him what he wanted, that I wouldn't give him any money, that I wouldn't comply with his demands. And just like that, he walked away. But even as he left, I knew the worst wasn't over, not by a long shot. When my husband came home, I had to face him. I had no choice but to tell him the truth. The camera, the video, was already out there. And I knew he would see it. I couldn't lie anymore. I couldn't hide the reality of what I had done. This is the part where everything changes, when the truth comes crashing down. When the affair isn't just a secret anymore, it's a public display. The camera never lies, and neither did the man who had exposed me. I told him everything. About Marcus. About the passion, about the lies I had told. And the look in his eyes? It wasn't anger at first. It was disappointment. Deep, soul-crushing disappointment. I had betrayed him. I had destroyed everything we had. But what hurt the most wasn't his anger. It was the silence. The silence that hung between us like a weight neither of us could lift. And then, the phone rang. The man with the video, he had uploaded it. The footage was out there now for anyone to see. My life had shattered in an instant. Everything I thought I could control was gone. The affair, the passion, the lies, they were all there, exposed for the world to see. And I was left standing in the ruins of my own making. I couldn't take it back. I couldn't erase the video. I couldn't fix what was broken, but I could own it. I could face the consequences of my actions, no matter how humiliating, no matter how painful. The truth was out, and there was no turning back. So, now that everything has been exposed, all I can do is wonder, was it worth it? Was the affair, the passion, the excitement, really worth losing everything I had? Or was I always just a step away from being caught in a trap of my own making?